Hi and welcome to this overview demonstration of the Donesafe platform. Donesafe is a really interesting platform. It is a cloud-based platform, and you can see from this address up the top here that it is accessible from any browser on pretty much any device based on the address that you have. So this is the demonstration site, but yours might be, your company name.donesafe.com, and that will be accessible from any web browser or any modern web browser anyway. We've even accessed it through television browsers and things like that. So it is a truly cloud-based application, and one of the things you want to make sure of in that environment is that you have the highest level of security, and Donesafe meets the ISO 27001 standards for compliance, which means that it can be used by governments and things like that. We can send you some more detailed information about that side of the system, but for the most part it means that it meets the highest levels of security that are available. It's a completely customizable module-based system. So these menu items you see along the side here, these are all modules in the system. So you can add or remove these modules depending on what you require for your own purposes. Everything about the view is customizable from these dashboards, which we can switch between different types of dashboards. All of these are customizable. These are just ones that we have made for the demo site, but you can put in here anything that you like, basically, from different types of buttons that take you to different places to analytics. If you want to go and put Power BI, or in this example it's Zoho Analytics dashboards, you can put anything you like in here. And when we jump into the modules, you'll see how customizable those are as well. But from a dashboard point of view, you can really create exactly what you're looking for. And the dashboards can be set up via different roles too. So an administrator has different roles. I'm logged in as an administrator here, so I see these dashboards. If you were logged in as an employee, you may only have the default dashboard, which has got the basic things on it. All of that stuff is customizable in Donesafe. And the great thing about it is that it's customizable right down into the individual modules. So if we jump into the incident module as an example, this view here is customizable. We can change the columns, we can change the workflow. There's a whole range of different things that are customizable in here. And I'll just run through one example. So this is the main form for the incidents. So everything you see here is customizable, from what it's called, new incident, to what type of questions, the incident types. Everything in here can be changed to suit your particular needs. The other great thing about Donesafe is it's a smart system. So I pick the date and time that it happens. I can put the title in here. I can change what that's called if I want. And then based on what I select next, let's say this is an injury, but if I'd have picked property damage or non-conformance or something else, what happens next after I hit complete changes. So an injury form will come up next. If I'd have picked near miss or property damage, then it would have been a different one that came up. And so I'll show you what that looks like. Put in a little description here, and we can upload an attachment if we want. And again, so this is common information to an incident, but what happens next is when we hit complete, then it asks us for injury details because I selected that it was an injury. So what was the incident? I got a burn. It was on my chest. I can mark that on the picture. No first aid given. Yes, there was equipment involved, or no, there wasn't. All of these forms are smart. So if I say yes to something instead of no, then it asks me different questions. I can upload a picture or an attachment, or I can create an action directly from these forms. Very powerful system. And I'll just finish this off so we can jump into the actual record itself. So this is the record that we've created in the system. You'll see the information from that main form appears on the left hand side here. We can actually control what shows, what doesn't show, a whole range of different things there. And that first subform that we filled out, which was the injury details, I can see the contents of that here. Now, the layout you'll see of Donesafe is very similar across all modules. The pieces that change, you have the main form information that you filled out here. All of these are subforms that are in the system. Well, all of these, the manager review, investigation, corrective actions, they're all subforms inside that module. What you see at the top here is the workflow that sits behind this particular module, and I'll show you that in a second. And then on the right hand side here, you can see any actions that are associated with this particular module, other things that it might be related to, so you can cross module relationship in Donesafe. So an incident might be related to a piece of equipment or a document or an injury, whatever it might be. You can attach files, and there's a range of other things that you can do here as well. One of the other key pieces of information on this screen is the involvements. Now this is a really straightforward involvement with, you've got the person who created it and you've got the person who was involved, which is the Donesafe partner, which is me. And so this overall layout is the basic framework of Donesafe. And if we jump into another module here and I look at injury management, and I jump into one of those records, let's jump into something that has something in it. So if we jump into one of these hazards, so you'll see that the layout is the same. So you've got your main form information here, you've got subforms, you've got your workflow, actions. One of the great things about Donesafe is that once you learn how to do one piece of the puzzle, you can use any of the system. So if you learn how to do an inspection or an audit, for example, then you can see how an incident works. You can see how a hazard works. Because the system is similar in look and feel right across the board, it makes it really easy to train people and get them up to speed, because you know where things will be and what to expect and how the overall thing works, no matter which module you're going into. The second part we want to drill into in this module view is the workflow. So if we go behind the scenes here, and I will show you what the workflow looks like. The workflow is it's really the powerhouse of Donesafe. And so if we jump into that same incident module, we can see this workflow here is another piece of the puzzle that you have complete customizable control over in Donesafe. Now this looks like a big bowl of spaghetti for this particular module in the demo site, but this can vary depending on your particular needs. We have customers that have very simple, like 3-stage workflows. We have some that have multi-stage ones like this. We have customers who have this process completely locked down, which means you can't go in both directions. You can't go from manager review to incident under investigation unless certain things are completed. And that's one of the powerful parts of Donesafe, is you get to design this workflow, or we build it around your existing workflow that you want to implement. But the great thing is that it gives you complete control over what happens from step to step to step. Who gets notified, what forms have to be completed, do all the actions have to be solved before you can close it out? Does someone have to sign it off? Does it need an investigation? What kind of investigations has to happen? All of these things can be controlled by the system depending on which selections are made when you create something. So it's really powerful, and obviously I could go into much more detail in here, but I will just try to keep it high level in this demonstration. So one of the other great things about Donesafe is that you have the option, when you come on board with the Keep It Simple group, you can either pick something that we've built already as a starting point, or we can build this for you from the ground up. And that means that you can have whatever you want in your plant and equipment register, or your incidents, or your non-conformances, meetings, whatever it might be. We can custom build it, or we can give you something that we've built for one of our 200 plus other customers as a starting point, and then you can make minor changes just to make it fit your particular needs. The reason Donesafe is so powerful is because it has so much flexibility in it. From the ability to customize what these main forms look like, to what happens once you've picked different options in here. So based on the type of truck, the type of plant that it might be, it'll ask you different questions. All of that kind of customization, right through to the ability to put in locations and show them on a map, all kinds of different things are customizations that are available in Donesafe. You can use all of them, you can use some of them, you can use none of them. It's up to you. And what we do is we help take you through that entire process of the build. And because we've done hundreds of these before, we've got expert knowledge in the best way to implement your vision of what you want for the system. Now, in terms of modules that you can implement into the system, we don't recommend that you start with 20 modules because that's a lot to take on in one hit. We prefer and we recommend that you go through, that you put your core system into place first. So you want to put in your forms module. So forms module could be anything from workplace inspections to ladder inspections, take fives, audits, any kind of piece of paper that normally gets filled out in your business. We can bang that into the forms module and really start collecting some solid data for your business. Then you want to do things like your documents, you want to have hazards, you might want plant and equipment, you'll certainly want to capture incidents, meetings. There are about 30 modules that are available. Some are the core components that most businesses want, like hazards, incidents, forms, that kind of stuff. Other things are your training. You might want to do a training register where you're capturing all of your company's training and monitoring expiration dates and things like that. You might have a learning management system that you want to implement from your own internal training that you have. There's a whole range of options available in terms of the modules. The best idea is to speak to one of our people, find out, let us figure out what it is that you're looking for, and then we can show you specifically those modules that might appeal to you. But just to recap, Donesafe is completely flexible. It's based in the cloud. It will run off your phone, off your computer, off a TV, anything with a web browser. It's completely safe, ISO 27001 compliant. It's modular, so you can add and remove modules as you go. Many of our customers start out with half a dozen modules and have built to 10, 12, 13 modules over time. It's customizable down to the finest point, so we can make this system do exactly what your requirements are, and it's a really easy system to learn, very user-friendly because everything looks and feels the same inside the modules. So I hope that's been really helpful for you, and we look forward to talking to you soon.